Hello,
Hey you, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? What's happening?
All well, all well. Scrambling as always.
Aren't we all? I mean, you would think that work from home would be easy, but
No, it's not,
no,
right?
it's
It
not.
isn't. But I'm very excited to get you here because I think the last conversation we had was when you were still in the midst of that book. And
Yes.
so today we have with us Aastha Atray, who has written this wonderful book, The L Word. It is such a breezy, quick read, and I completely enjoyed reading. It was easy to read. It was easy to understand, and the points that stuck in my head. It was easy to identify those points, at least for me, Astha. So, welcome so much once again to my
Thank you
show.
so much again for
Always,
calling me.
always a pleasure to speak and chat with you. And tell me, how's it going after the book? Is it a crazy round of those? The book. I always said, and this was my big learning after writing the book, was that the promotions have a life of their own, and it's tougher to
Yeah,
promote a book than to write it.
yeah. I think like I've just let it be. Now I'm like Joe, whatever happens with it, and you have to just keep continuing to do what you do, and I think the book is a part of that. So it just as more people get to know you, they get to know that you've written a book. So I'm
100%.
just doing that. Yeah, I mean, I did do like a couple of did the lives, and a lot of people have reviewed the book, so they've all said good things and things like that. But I've decided not to stress too much about it. As they get to know me, they will read the book. You know,
The
yeah.
L word, somebody's asking, the L word is here. What do you think is the L word? Asta, tell
Could
them.
be anything. It could be anything you want it to be. So it
That's
could
true.
be love, lust, it could be self-love, it could be anything you would want it to
So
be.
tell me, when you started writing the book and when you finished it, did you finish it the way you thought you would finish it, or was there a learning for you as well during this journey?
I think it was a learning in any case because it's my first nonfiction. I've never written nonfiction. I mean, as a journalist, of course, I write nonfiction every day, but I've never written a book. So I didn't know how it would go, and I was actually pleasantly surprised with the finished product. I was like, "Acha, that's what a good editor also can, they help you turn the book around a little bit." And I think what eventually came out was a nice. It's a easy book of relatable advice, I feel, which you can actually put into action, which is the kind of books that I'm reading also right now. I'm reading a lot of books about, be it spirituality or be it just to, get your goals going and things like that, like self development in a way. जैसे हम जिसको हम बोलते थे, what is it? Self help books, right? So I think those kind of books work well when they're very to the point, when they're very they give you that call to action right away, and you can start putting it in your daily life. So I think it's come out to be a book like that, which is very easy to understand, and good, solid advice. I feel I've given good, solid advice. If people follow it, their love lives will be a little bit less confusing and less tragic and toxic. Uh, so I feel it's a good, in that way, it's come out exactly the way I wanted it.
So that's wonderful because yes, I think your advice is fantastic. There's a lot of realistic advice. So I want to know, can we now start calling you a love guru?
Yeah, please do. I'm the non-dysfunctional Carrie Bradshaw. I would like that. Like she's
Oh, that's right.
dysfunctional. I want to be like a good version of that. Like I'm like, yeah, like lots of people say, I feel like an older sister telling them what to do. I think that's a nice way of putting it.
No, it is. One of the lines that really struck me was towards the end when you're talking about people who are single, because
Yeah,
I am surrounded by a lot of people who are single, and the fact that that they're alone but they're not lonely.
yeah.
And I thought that was so nicely put because I think we misjudge that aspect of their lives and we think, oh, bichare is single, they've got nobody, they're aging, what will they do? And they're so content in their life and they're so okay with their life, but that society kind of pressure that goes around doesn't change, does it?
No, I think that's the problem, whether we put too much effort on. I mean, we put too much pressure on coupling. But I feel like it's basically about coming home to someone. It could be a family, it could be a cat, it could be a dog, it could be, I think companionship is more important than being a couple. So I've realized that I think if they have a good enough support system, everybody, single or couple doesn't matter, because there are a lot of people who might be in a couple but are lonely and have to reach out to their friends or somebody else for support and not their partner. So being in a couple does not mean that you're less lonely or that you're sorted or that now life is like great. So I think it's just about figuring a good support system for yourself, which is there regardless of if you have a partner or not. And I've realized, I just feel that spending time with yourself is such a great thing, and I think more of us should do that and develop that part that we can be okay alone. No matter what happens tomorrow, you can be okay alone, you know. So I've been trying to do that, like and with the fact that you are alone. I mean, I'm not alone, but it's still, I would want to think that I'm a complete person by myself as well. So I think it's just about having a good support system and coming home to someone. Sometimes that matters. After a bad day, you want to just talk to someone. So if you have a friend you can go for a drink with, then that's it. You're sorted. You don't need a partner for that, right?
Yeah, I think also the COVID time, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I think we've all understood companionship is
is key.
huge. This is one of the
Yeah,
big
yeah,
learnings from COVID, right? But
yeah,
what
yeah,
isn't huge is being friend zoned, as you mentioned in
yeah.
one of your chapters. Oh my God, I was laughing through that because I think we've all been at the end of that friend zoning. Has that kind of changed a little bit now, Astha? Because the way love is, the way everything is, intimacies, it's all changed from my
I think
time.
we have not just been at the end of it. We have also done it to a lot of people.
Possibly, yes. You're right.
You have friends on someone who liked you.
Yes, you're right. That's
Yeah,
good.
yeah, of course. So I think, I mean, I just feel now people are relegated to like friends with benefits instead of friend zoning completely. Somehow or the other, it's all interconnected in this new world that we live. But I think it happens. I just think that we ignore what's right next, right in front of us, because we have this very set template ki bhai, I want this in a boy, or I want this in a girl. So we actually don't look at some people because they don't fit exactly into that template. So that's what I say, ki change your type a little bit. And maybe the person in the friend zone is not exactly your type, but could be the right person for you. You don't know that,
So I
you
know
know.
that the book, a lot of the book has been, there's a lot of your podcast in the book,
Yes.
uh, right? So was that a starting point for you?
I think the reason why I decided to do the book was because last 2 years I have talked with a lot of strangers about love and got a lot of insight into it. Like people write to me every day, and I talk to young people every day on Instagram about their love problems in detail. Like I have to say now stop, like because they're going on but. So I'm like, now you need the questionnaire is over, So I think I've got a lot more insight in the last 2 years into what's happening aajkal. I mean, I know things about love in general, but the last 2 years have been like it's been an education, because everybody has reached out to us to Ankit and me about lot of their problems. So I think we've got an insight into all the chapters were according to what people are actually wanting to know from us. Like they'll write to us a lot about, like there's a chapter called how do you know he's the one. That question I get a lot, like because people are confused. How do I know I'm in the right relationship? How do I know that this is the person I need to get married to? And sometimes I feel like telling them that's a feeling. You'll know it when you know it. If
You
you
know
have
it,
to
you're right.
ask me, yeah, if you have to ask me, maybe it's not the
It's
person.
not happening. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But so people ask like it's a very broad question, how to answer something like that. So we've got most of the questions in the chapters have been concerns that people have reached out to us with. So I think my education has been on the podcast, and it's a continuing education. So I'm looking at a sequel for this book.
I'm sure you'll get it. But tell me, was there any kind of question that was asked of you for which you had no reply, or it just completely took you aback?
Are Oyo rooms safe to have sex? I don't know if they are, but please be careful wherever you go to have sex, you know. I think they all watched that one movie where you get taped in the video in the hotel room and, then you're being blackmailed and all. So my advice was that just be safe wherever you go. I mean, good hotels, obviously it's not going to happen. So go to a expensive but safe hotel, if you have to. So those were like some, and that came from a small town, so it was like, that's one of the questions. I was like, is it a safe place? Is any safe place for
Is
kids?
there,
You know?
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there
Like,
anything
what is
safe
a
as
safe
well,
place?
right? With technology being
Exactly,
so fluid. Uh,
exactly.
but I love the titles of all your chapters. They're amazing, you know. Talking from, let me open this up. I like Take a Swipe on Me. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. And I thought it reflected so well the generation today, because I think there's just so much of that digital footprint as well, as we keep speaking about. And the
Yeah,
fact that everything is, it's also very instant, right? You're in love or you're not in love. And the fact that you brought up that the ghosting part,
yeah.
you know, or the part that another, there are words that stuck out for me: the ghosting part, the gaslighting, the consent, of course. So, ghosting, do you want to speak a little bit about that in today's generation?
Yeah, I mean, we just Ankit and I actually just recorded an episode where we were like, love lessons we have learned, and one of the things I said was that it's very it's very important that we are responsible, when we are dating, about how the other person feels. I think it's if you like Murakami, there's a book by Murakami called, it's either North of the Sun, East of the Border. There's one of those books, which where basically the protagonist hurts, his girlfriend from school, and later he sees her many years later, and he realizes that she's lost all her beauty, and she looks really sad, and he says that he never knew that what he did to her could change her so much as a person, because after that experience is when she loses her, uh I guess she loses her spirit in a way, because love has that way of making you doubt yourself and making you feel like, why did this happen to me? So I feel like it's very important that we are very responsibly dating. I mean, you could hurt a person very badly just by ghosting them. What have they done to you? I would rather that you tell me that you don't like me than not pick up my calls or block me, because then I'm left wondering, ki, what did I do? What did I do wrong? And I might internalize it. And young people, I feel, internalize everything because they think it's about them. They don't think that it is the circumstance or it's the other person, or it's just the way life goes. You get some things, you don't get some things. They internalize it and make it about how bad they or were they not good looking, or were they not worthy enough. And you are hurting people. And I mean, a cliche is that hurt people hurt other people. So I feel like we have to be really responsible. Uh, if you don't like someone, please tell them you don't like them. It didn't work out the next morning. You don't feel the same. You are only in it for the sex. You only want to do it once. You'll not call them tomorrow. Big deal. They don't know you. What they think about you. How does it matter if they hate you after that? But at least you're honest, and you are not taking it ahead on your conscience. You are honest. Now they have I mean, they have sort of, they can make the choice. Once you've been honest, they can make the choice of either being with you or not being with you, right? Uh, and I feel like we need to do that. Ghosting is really disrespectful, and it's really a coward's way out. Just say it. I am not in this, or I've got over it. I've fallen out of love with you.
I've often,
Anything of that
I
sort.
wonder quite a bit, Astha, actually, the ghosting and the cancel culture, are those lines a little bit blurred?
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure they are now. Everything is blurred. You can cross over any time into
Yes.
anything. Yeah, but I just feel, since we are dating so much, and since we are do have that choice, illusion of choice, as Ankit says, uh, we should be responsible about it. I mean, what's the harm in just leaving people better than you found them? Don't make them regret that they ever came on a dating website, or they ever met you or saw you or heard your name. If both people do that, if everyone on a dating site is a little bit more responsible, I feel dating would be a more fun thing. It'd be like, okay, it didn't work out. But fine, I'll move on. It won't be like I hate boys or girls suck and
So
they
how's it
only, I mean,
how's it how's it changed from say a decade ago dating?
I think a decade ago is a choice ही नहीं था ना. You either dated first your school friends or your college friends or people you went to office with, or an office friend you met at a party, or it was the dating pool was also much smaller. So responsibility was there in any case. How could you ghost someone? And there was no place to ghost. Like, I think it hurts when you look for someone's Instagram account and they've blocked you. You are just like, what did I do? So I feel it's very instant. The ghosting is also very instant. And it feels very final. Where when we were growing up, what, you never just saw the person again, and then out of mind, out of sight, out of mind happened. Ghosting कहाँ था? ऐसा कोई concept ही नहीं था. You just didn't see the person ever again, and that was fine. But you knew where they lived, you knew their friends, you knew their parents. If anything happened, you could go and ask for answers.
And there was
Yeah,
closure. And there was
there
closure.
was. Yeah. Or you saw them in office the next day and you had to
Yeah,
pretend you don't see them. So,
that's
you
true.
know,
That's true.
yeah,
So
yeah.
tell me, from ghosting to gaslighting, that's the other one.
Gaslighting, I think, was very important to be addressed because I don't think we take it seriously enough. And it only came up maybe 2, 3 years ago when all the Me Too's happened that we started hearing this word again and again, gaslighting. Um, I really feel that even there are very small instances where people can gaslight you. Are you crazy? Why would you think that? Oh, you're so stupid to think that. Oh, you're petty to do that. And I feel like it makes it makes you ignore your gut feeling. And I feel gut feelings are very true mostly. Your instincts are there for a reason, your gut feeling is there for a reason. And because we gaslight women, we have made them very paranoid about everything also. I mean, I think women get more gaslighted, but I'm sure men do as well. Uh, but just gaslighting can turn you into, like, now you have to think everything. You have to question your gut feeling. You have to question your instincts. You have to say, am I just imagining it, or is this paranoia, or is this really true? Then it goes into a different, like, I feel it causes mental health issues if you
It's
are
a mental.
gaslighting someone, yeah, constantly. So I feel like everybody has a right to their opinion, and unless they are being completely paranoid and psycho with you, and you can't deal with it, please don't gaslight people. It's just, and especially when people are doing something wrong and they gaslight you. It's like, have some conscience. Again, it comes back to being responsible. If you are if you are hurting someone and someone does find out about it, please don't gaslight them and don't judge, question their judgment. Um, Leave people better than you found them. Gaslighting is really bad. I think it's worse than cheating and ghosting. It's just worse than that because you're making a person question themselves. And that means you are responsible if their mental health is on a decline, because you're making them question their intellect. And that's very wrong. Should not be done.
So what is your advice for people in a toxic relationship? I've read that, but for those who haven't.
uh, I just feel that everybody has to be. I was telling Ankit that we should do an episode about how to recognize if you are being toxic, like yourself. I think it's not about, after a while, it's not about the other person, because I feel we become toxic and we never know. If you're checking your boyfriend's phone, you're toxic. If you don't trust him, you're toxic. If you're asking questions for everything, you are toxic. If you want them to spend all their time with you, you are toxic. If you don't want them to have other friends, then you are toxic. So everybody has to do some introspection and see what they are being toxic about, and stop doing that. I think instead of pointing out that this is a toxic relationship and that person is doing this to me, if we all get accountable about ourselves and what we do as toxic people, and we do a lot of things that I don't think even we know that are toxic. It could be as simple as, why you wearing this, or why you meeting that friend of yours from school, or why you drinking so much, or why did you go out with the girls. It could be anything. So we have to be accountable for ourselves. And once we figure out if we are being toxic, then we can say something about someone else.
But hasn't toxicity been normalized also in our country for the kind of patriarchy and
Yeah.
the kind of culture that we have in our country?
Yeah. I think we have to set our boundaries of what we are okay with and what we're not okay with. Non-negotiables है ना नया word of 2021. My non-negotiable in a relationship or a dating scenario should be anything that uh, I mean personal freedom. I think anything that infringes on your personal freedom could become
Yeah.
toxic. So you have to take you have to be responsible for it. If you let toxic people throw you around, then matlab, one of the things, in the Me Too thing that we all asked this question when people came out with Me Too stories, ki, what were you doing for 10 years? Why you didn't say that this boyfriend was bad 10 years ago? Matlab, like, because some people made it into a boyfriend bashing
Of
thing
course.
that he
Yeah.
treated me badly for 10 years. But what were you doing for 10 years? You know when a person is treating
Why
you
now?
badly. If a person slaps you or, you know, humiliates you in front of your friends or makes a scene, he's toxic. You know what's happening. So don't aid toxic behavior as well. So you have to call it out now.
That's totally true. So tell me, what is the best love advice you have received? Not
I've
asking you to give.
received.
Yes.
um, if it's I feel the love advice is basically everybody should know their worth. If it's feeling bad and anxious and uh making you upset every day, it's best to leave. No matter how much you love the person, it's best to end the relationship, because anything that is making you feel anxious or sad or upset or crying all the time is really not, it's not worth it. It's a sign. The universe is giving you a sign that this is not right for you. You're crying every day. You're anxious every day. You know, you're looking at your phone all the time. It's not worth it. So please take those signs as real signs and say, okay, I need to end this. You need to end it before it gets really bad. I think many of us don't end things. We
Yeah.
have a problem with ending things. So yeah.
Someone's
So
written
end it when you really
when
feel it.
many women don't have the guts to come out and speak, which I agree. Which is why I actually asked. I've always said that people who are even speaking out after a few years, give them the benefit of the doubt simply because it's taken them that long. Maybe the environment has changed. The lot could have changed to enable them to speak when they couldn't have
Yeah.
spoken, a few years earlier. So it's a bit of a tricky thing. But another question for
Yeah.
you is, what is love for you? And I was going to ask you that as well.
I think love for me is consistency. Someone has to just, I mean, there are going to be bad times and good times, and there is going to be, times when you don't feel it, or times when, everything's testing you. But consistency to love someone um, consistently and have a spine to stand up for them and with them during their bad times and good times. I think that is what love has become for me now.
So I'm also glad that you spoke about porn and the fact that porn, erotica, or addiction to porn depends, the way we look at it. And I think that kind of awareness is still hugely lacking in our country, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's still a taboo topic. B, you don't speak about it. C, because we don't speak about it, we don't acknowledge that young kids are also in it. So how did you come across this?
I think the fact that creators like us are talking about it, like there's another creator called Lisa Mangaldas who talks on Instagram about love and I mean about sex basically, and sex education, and she's really good and she's young and makes it more relatable. I think Ankit and I, when we talk about it, we also come across as relatable. So like one girl actually wrote to us who was an elder sister, and she talked about her brother. She said, I caught my brother watching porn. Now I want to deal with it in a healthy way. I don't want to complain about him to my parents, but I want to have a conversation with him where we can both, figure this out, if it's right, if it's, is it wrong? She asked us. So we were like, that's so nice that she could actually think of
Yeah.
reaching out to us and,
Yes.
you know, uh, And lucky brother to have a good sister
Yes,
like that. So
of
I think
course.
younger people need more, even if it's not in school and colleges. I think as creators, everybody has sort of, if you're a young creator, it's a good responsibility to have to help educate young people about sex and sex education and porn and things like that. So we told her that it's not a bad thing. He's a young boy. It's natural, for him, but as long as he doesn't get addicted to it or doesn't depend on it completely. So it's good that you have a you can have a candid chat with him. You can make him listen to the podcast. I think we had done a episode about porn. So we said, why don't you share that, and both of you can listen to it together, because when it comes from a third person,
Yeah.
there's no agenda, they're just saying it. So and then she said that she did have a good chat with him, and they had sort of like sorted things out between them. So that was nice.
Okay, Astha, who wears many, many hats. Author, journalist, romantic novelist, singer, I believe too, right?
Yes,
Amazing.
there's a song.
So I'm going
Fifth
to ask
song
you
has
if you
just come
have.
out. If
Oh,
I have,
really?
yeah,
Do you want to sing a song?
yeah. No, no, no. Go listen
Amazing.
to
No,
it.
no, this is the book. Okay, we're sticking to the
And
book. So I'm going to let you go with the last words. Tell them why they need to buy the L word, Astha.
I think they need to buy the L word just so they can get like a few some very solid good rules to follow if you're dating, and just some solid uh advice, I guess, just to be a better person in love. I think, and it's very simple, it's very relatable. I've gone through everything you guys might have gone through or are going through. So it comes from a good place. I just want you to be happy and not upset and not, heartbroken. And if you are heartbroken, it also tells you how to get out of it. So I think it's an easy book to read to be happy in love.
Lovely. I'm going to leave it at that. And I totally
Thank
agree
you.
because it was amazing. There are wonderful tips: single, married, divorced, heartbroken, looking for love. There are tips from my new love guru right here. So get the
Thank you
book.
so much. Thank
And
you.
thanks, Astha. Chat again
Thank you. It was
soon.
lovely chatting with you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.